Once upon a time, in a bustling kingdom, there lived a wise and kind king named King Benjamin. King Benjamin was loved and respected by everyone in the kingdom for his wisdom and fair judgment. Every day, people from far and wide would come to seek his advice.
One sunny morning, as the king sat in his palace, a little girl named Lily entered. With big, curious eyes and a timid smile, she approached the king, seeking his guidance.
"Dear King Benjamin," Lily began, "I have a question about honesty. Is it always the best policy?"
The king chuckled softly and gestured for the young girl to sit beside him. "Honesty, my dear, is indeed the best policy. Let me show you why."
King Benjamin began telling Lily a story about two friends named Tim and Tom. Tim and Tom were mischievous little boys who loved playing pranks on others. One day, they decided to play a trick on their neighbor, Mr. Johnson.
Tim and Tom were mischievous little boys who loved playing pranks on others. One day, they decided to play a trick on their neighbor, Mr. Johnson. The boys sneaked into Mr. Johnson's garden and uprooted all his flowers, leaving his garden in disarray. When Mr. Johnson discovered the mess, he was devastated. He had spent years nurturing those flowers with love and care. Tim and Tom watched from a distance, giggling with glee. Their prank had worked, or so they thought. Little did they know that their actions would have consequences beyond what they ever imagined.
The next day, Tim and Tom woke up to find their own gardens withered and wilted. All their beautiful flowers had turned to dust. Confused, they ran to Mr. Johnson's house, seeking answers. Mr. Johnson, who had always been a wise man, gently explained, "Sometimes what we sow is what we reap. By uprooting my flowers and bringing chaos to my garden, you invited chaos into your own lives." The boys were filled with regret and promised to make amends for their actions. They worked hard to restore Mr. Johnson's garden, planting new flowers and taking care of them every day. Gradually, their own gardens blossomed once again as a symbol of their newfound understanding.
King Benjamin looked at Lily and said, "You see, my dear, honesty is like planting seeds of kindness and truth. When we choose to be honest, we sow the seeds of trust and respect. But when we choose dishonesty, like Tim and Tom did, we sow chaos and unhappiness."
Lily nodded, understanding the lesson hidden in the story. "Thank you, King Benjamin," she said. "I will always remember that honesty is indeed the best policy."
King Benjamin smiled at the young girl. "Remember, Lily, honesty may not always be the easiest path, but it is the one that leads to a life filled with joy and contentment."
Moral: with a newfound understanding of the importance of honesty, Lily left the palace, eager to share the lesson with her friends and family. So here, we also learnt the same.